The story of Harun Rashid Badshah's son. Harun Rashid had a son who was about 16 years old. One day he came to the assembly of his father. The ministers and nobles were all gathered around him, and a small cloth was tied on the boy's body, and a small piece was tied on his head. The members of the kingdom said to each other that the action of this crazy boy have humiliated Amirul Momineen in the eyes of other kings. If Amirul Momineen warns him, maybe he will stop from his condition. After hearing this, Amirul Momineen said to him, "Son, you have humiliated me in the eyes of the people." After hearing this, he did not give any answer to his father, but a bird was sitting there and said to him, "Whoever created you, come and sit on my hand." That bird flew from there and sat on his hand. Then he said, "Go to your place." He grabbed his hand and went to his place. After that, he said that, "Father, actually the love you are giving to the world has disgraced me. Now I have decided to separate from you." Having said that, he left there, and while walking, he only took a Holy Qur'an with him, and his mother also gave him a very valuable ring, so that he could sell it in times of need and bring it to work. He used to work only one day in a week on Saturday, and for 8 days he would spend the labor money, and on the 8th day again on Saturday he would do the work and take 1 dirham and 1/6 of a vanq of dirham. Do not take more or less than that a vanq used to spend daily. Abu Amir Basri Rahmatullah alayhi narrates that one of my walls had fallen, so I went in search of an architect to build it. Someone must have told me that the person also worked in the construction. I saw a very handsome boy sitting with a basket near him and reading the Holy Qur'an. I asked him that the boys will do labor. They said, "Why not do it? They were born for labor." I said that I have to take the mud construction work. He said that the labor will be 1 dirham and 1 manik, and I will not work during prayer time. I have to go for prayer. I accepted both his condition and brought him to work. When I saw it at sunset, he worked as much as 10 men. I gave him 2 dirham as labor. He refused to take more than the bet and walked away with a dirham and a vanq. The next day I went out to look for him again, but I couldn't find him anywhere. I asked people what kind of work a boy of such a condition does. Does anyone know where to find him? Does anyone know where to find him? People said that works only on Saturday, and before that you will not find him anywhere. I was so enamored with his work that I stopped my construction for 8 days and went in search of him on Saturday. I found him sitting like this reading the Holy Qur'an. I greeted him and asked him to work. He explained the same first two conditions. I accepted. He came with me and started working. I was wondering how this one man could do the work of 10 men last Saturday. So this time I hid so that he wouldn't see me. When I saw his working method, I saw that he takes mortar in his hand and pours it on the wall, and the stones join together by themselves. I was convinced that someone is Allah's guardian and the deeds of Allah's saints are helped by the unseen. He refused to accept what I would do with so many dirhams and left with a dirham and a wank. I waited for a week again, and on the third Saturday I again went in search of him, but I did not find him. I inquired with the people. A person said that he has been ill for 3 days and is lying in a deserted forest. I paid a man to convince him to take me to this forest. He took me with him to this deserted forest, and I saw it that he is unconscious. A half brick piece is placed under the head. I greeted him. He did not answer. When I greeted him a second time, he opened his eyes and recognized me. I quickly lifted his head from the brick and placed it in my lap. He removed his head and said, "My friend, with the blessing of the world, don't lie that life is ending and all these blessings will end. When someone goes to the cemetery with a funeral, keep thinking that your funeral will be held in the same way on one day." After that, he said to me, "Abu Amir, when my soul leaves, bathe me and shroud me in my same clothes." I said, "My beloved, what is wrong with my bringing? What is wrong with me bringing new clothes for your shroud?" He replied that living people are more deserving of new clothes. This answer is the answer of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu. When permission was out, he gave the same answer. The boy said that the shroud, whether it is old or new, everything will become rotten. With a man, there is only his action, and that is to give my limp and loot to the gravedigger as labor, and to deliver this ring and the Noble Qur'an to Haroon Rashid, and take care that you hand it over to them yourself, and tell them that I have this trust of a local boy, and it has been said to you that it does not happen, that in the same state of neglect and deception you are after saying that death will come, his soul left. That's when I realized that this boy was a prince. After his death, in accordance with his will, I buried him and gave both things to Gorkan, and reached Baghdad with the Holy Qur'an and the ring, and went to Qasr Shahi. When I got close, the king's horse was coming out. In this way, 10 armies came out one after the other. Amirul Momineen himself was also in the 10th group. I said loudly, "O commander of the faithful, because of the kindship of the Holy Prophet, please pause for a moment." When they saw me, I hurried forward and said, "I have this trust of a native boy who bequeathed to you to convey these two things to you." The king recognized him, bowed his head for a while, tears flowed from him from his eyes, and told a porter to keep this man with him. and deliver him to me when I call him back. When he returned to the house from outside, he pulled down the curtains of the palace and said to the gatekeeper, "Call this person, even though Mr. he will make Mir fresh." The porter came to me and said that the Amirul Momineen has called and to take care that the Amir has a lot of influence on Sadma. If you want to do 10 things, do only 5. Having said that, he took me to Amir. At that time, Amir was sitting all alone. He told me to come closer to me. I went closer and sat down. They said, "Do you know this son of mine?" I said, "Yes, I know him." They said, "What did he do?" They said, "You had also arranged for him to do some work as a laborer." I said, "I did. My uncle is the descendant of Hazrat Abbas." I said, "Amirul Momineen, first I want to apologize to Allah Almighty, then apologize to you. I did not know who they were at that time." They said, "You bathed him with your hand?" I said, "Yes." They said, "Bring your hand." Oh, the traveler for whom my heart is melting and my eyes are welling up with tears. Oh, one whose house the grave is far away, but his grief is near to me. Verily, death mars every good luxury. That traveler was a piece of the moon. Example, his face, made of pure silver. It was on the branch that is on his body. So the bump of the moon also reached the grave, and the branch of the moonshine also reached the grave. After that, Haroon Rashid decided to go to his grave in Basra. Arriving, arriving at his grave with Abu Amir, Harun Rashid recited a few poems, the translation of which is, "O traveler who will never return from his journey, and my eyes are filled with tears. O one whose house, the grave, is far away, but his grief is near to me. Verily, death mars every good luxury." That traveler was a journey. Death overlooked him at an early age. Who, oh, the coldness of my eyes was for me theirs, and the chain of my heart. In long nights and in short nights you have drunk that cup of death, which soon your old father will drinking on his old age. But every man of the world will drink it, whether he is a forest dweller or a city dweller. So all prizes are for the one and only whose destiny is written. These are charms. Abu Amir says that the night that came after that, I was lying down after completing my duties, and I saw a dome of light in a dream, on which light was spreading. From the clouds of this light, the boy called me and said, "Abu Amir, may the Almighty reward you. You did my funeral and fulfilled my will." I asked him, "What happened to you, my dear?" He said that, "I have come to such a Muli who is very kind and he said that I have come to such a Allah who is very kind and very pleased with me. This owner has given me those things." Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud says that it is written in the Torah that Allah Almighty has given shelter to those whose sides are covered with moons at night. Those who live far away, example for the pilgrims, have prepared things which no eye has seen, no ear has heard, nor has the thought of them crossed the heart of any man, nor has any close angel knows them, nor any prophet. He knows, and this article is also in the Holy Qur'an. No one knows that the eye cooling equipment for such people is freer in the unseen. After that, the boy said, Almighty Shana has sworn that the man who comes out of the world in the same way as I came out has the same honors and honors that happen to me. Sahib Rose says that this whole story has reached me in another way. A person asked Haroon Rashid about this boy, and he said that this boy was born before I became the king. He had left me. He did not take any comfort from my world. While walking, I asked his mother to give him this ring. The power of this ring was very valuable, but he did not choose it either. Returned at the time of death, this boy was his mother's great guardian. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ